Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joko Sipeliti and I am a motherhood, lifestyle, beauty and occasional vlogging type of content creator. So today I am bringing you newborn baby hacks that have worked for me. I have three kids, a 4.5-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. So what I did is I actually compiled, like my notebook, a list of all the things that have really been working with me or working for me in terms of newborn babies, and I just put all of this together for you guys because I'm here for that. I hope you enjoy. I'll be posting 2 videos per week every Wednesdays and every Sundays. If I do miss a day, I will write about it. And yeah, you can follow me on all my socials. I'm Joko Sipeliti. The way you see it on my YouTube is the way I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. But let me not ramble and let's get started. Okay, so I've made it easy on my list and I've made everything into sections because I'm a section girl and that's what works for me. So first we're going to start with changing. Okay, so umbilical cord stump care. That might seem a bit obvious, but yeah, for that I used to clean it with surgical spirit, with every single nappy change, cotton balls, cotton swabs. Some people like to use earbuds as well. And for my babies, they all dropped their umbilical cord on day 3. Day 4 was like the latest. I just ensured that every single nappy change, I would clean it. As well as I've also fold over the nappy. I'll just be inserting like little videos to show you what I mean. Fold the nappy over so that it actually gets air and it's not encased within the nappy, because sometimes when they pee, it can travel up and just make that area wet, and you want to keep it as dry as possible. I'll also show you some of the products that I used to use in terms of that. There's a powder people like to use, but I stuck to the old school surgical spray because it worked for me. Another old school way that really worked for me was actually wrapping a bandage around the baby's midsection where the umbilical cord is, because I found that when it was drying out, it would secrete a lot of liquids and things like that, and that would stain baby's vest, and I didn't want them to be uncomfortable for me to have to change the baby vest every single time. So I had small little bandages that I used. I had a couple of them, and I would change them according to how the umbilical cord looked, because in the first day or 2 it really is secreting a lot as it's drying out. So that worked for me. And then also, as soon as it falls off, remember there's going to be like a little hernia or hole, whatever they call it, that's kind of left there. So I continuously clean that up until baby's belly button closed up and looked normal. Okay, next one is sliding baby's nappy underneath their bum before you actually remove the nappy. That way you're gonna try and run away from baby peeing and messing up the area that you're changing, or even that pee going onto the clothes that they're wearing, creating even more laundry. That always worked best for me. For girls especially, I mean, that's the best. Just slide it under, have that clean one there, so that if you're taking off the dirty nappy and they end up peeing or anything like that, you're safe in terms of laundry and taking care of the area or space that you use. For boys, best thing to do is, before you actually change their nappy, is to take a wet cloth or a wet wipe, because it's quite wet, and just like wipe it across their stomach, their lower belly, so that it can activate for them to pee, because boys will pee and it will be everywhere. I have 2 girls and I have a son, and when I had my son, it was a bit of a shock to the system, because I was like, what's going on? Every time I changed his nappy, and I saw that actually worked, where just wipe across there with a wet wipe, cold wet wipe, or a cold cloth, and then I'd open up the nappy a little bit and kind of just hold it down there for a couple of seconds to make sure that pee has come out, and then change him, and Bob's your uncle. That worked best for me. Okay, also there are nappy wetness indicating nappies. So if the line is yellow, nappy is empty. Once the line turns blue, it's full, it's time to change baby's nappy. I would change baby's nappy when it's full. I mean, the type of nappies that we have now, the nice thing is that they actually are quite dry, and it's just nice to have that indicator that you're not changing a nappy that's not ready to be changed yet. I feel like that was very, very convenient. For blowouts, sure, they have a lot of blowouts in those stages. It can get quite intense, and it can also get a bit overwhelming, especially if you're a first-time mom, and even if when you're not a first-time, man, blowouts are a lot. So what I do is that instead of trying to pull up the clothes or the vest, I pull them down by the shoulders and take it off from the bottom. That way you're not gonna have any of that blowout traveling up the baby's body on their head and just making a mess. It was a trial and error for me, and let me tell you, whenever I pulled the clothes up, it was just, I don't know, I just take baby and wash them, because then I was like, what can I do? You know what I mean? So that worked best for me for blowouts. And then for poop stains, of course, the blowouts, especially in those stages, if you're breastfeeding, it's that bright yellow. Even when you're not breastfeeding, man, they have a color and they kind of do stain on clothing. Don't worry about it. Wash your baby's clothes as you would as per normal. If you're gonna soak, and then hang it outside on the washing line where there is sun. Try and find an area that has the most sun and just lay it out there or hang it there, and the sun actually removes the stains for you, which is amazing. I mean, using a dryer can be convenient, especially if it's cold or rainy or whatnot, but for all those stained clothing, in the sun, workspace, that stain will be gone. You don't need to be using any extra things that are going to harm baby in terms of washing to try and get them out. So that worked best for me. And then nappy changing stations, have a small basket or something ready for you. I love me a baby caddy. Some people aren't for it, I'm for it. It's convenient. Everything is in there. Nappies, baby bum creams, wet wipes, aqueous cream, umbilical cord care, which is your cotton buds, cotton wool, earbuds, and your surgical spread, so that every time you change baby, everything you need is there, and you're not kind of running around trying to think where everything is. I'm all for a nappy caddy, and yeah, that worked best for me for changing. All right, that's it. Next, on to the second topic, which is for feeding. Okay, so you want to note for newborns that all the growth spurts occur at 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, and 6 months. So they're going to feed a lot. And if you're breastfeeding, you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, my baby's not getting enough. And you're going to just feel exhausted. Don't worry, it's going to pass. It's a couple of days, but it's just good to note them down so that you are ready as well when it happens, so you don't feel like my baby's not having enough, because you can have that fear of, why are they feeding so much? Are they hungry? No, just take note of that, okay? And I will have a breastfeeding 101 video that I'll be posting up, so don't worry about it. If you have any breastfeeding questions, I'll tell you everything I know that I've learned over my 3 kids breastfeeding journeys. And then fussiness after feeds are usually an indication that there's gas, right? Because as you know, newborns suffer with gas. Some are colicky, some are not. My babies weren't colic babies, which was great. I never had to struggle with that, which is a blessing, because I know some of us don't have that luxury of having babies that aren't colicky. But there are massages and things that you can do in order to aid your baby get all that wind out, right? So I would do the legs, the bicycle legs, that will help a bit. Also massage along the stomach to get those bubbles down. But there is actually a hack that I learned on TikTok that worked best for me, where you hold the baby up, you make a C with your hands, so the thumb is in the front part of the baby and the 4 fingers are by the bum, and you kind of just wiggle them a little bit, not too much force, and they would just all of that gas out. That worked for me. That worked really well. If you do struggle with massages, you want to get more newborn massages, you want to know, YouTube that, Google that. They'll show you all types of things that you can do, and it's best to do it after every feed, just to make sure that baby doesn't suffer with that after every single feed, burp that baby, okay? And then something I also struggled with, because my short-term memory is actually a mess and a half, and I think it's purely because of pregnancy and being a mom. So what I would do is that after every feed, because I used to breastfeed, so if I've fed baby on the left side, what I do is then put a hair band around my left hand so that I knew that, okay, this was the last boob that I fed baby from, so that the next time I need to do a feed, I know to feed baby onto this one, and then I just move the hairband onto my right hand side, just so you keep track of which boob you're feeding from. Always worked. And then nursing station is a nice to have, but it's not a need. Just like I spoke about the nappy caddy, same thing with a nursing or a feeding station. For breastfeeding, breastfeeding actually just, it makes you so hungry and it makes you so thirsty. I felt like I always needed something to drink, and there's nothing worse than being super thirsty while you're feeding baby, and moving around is just not possible, especially in the newborn stage. You're healing and you're trying to figure everything out. So I just created a station for myself. So for breastfeeding, if you're a breastfeeding mom, specifically, I had water, snacks, fruit to eat while I'm feeding, because I'd get hungry and I'd get thirsty. For formula feeding, I also did formula feeding as well later on. I'd have a flask. I had 2 flasks. One that had lukewarm water, one that had really hot water. That way, if the one with the warm water is a bit too cold, I could use the hot one to kind of dilute it to the perfect temperature. And then obviously bottles, 3 bottles I'd have there, formula dispenser, which would have the correct measurement of scoops needed, so I wouldn't have to be scooping quickly and measuring while baby wants to feed. And then of course a burp cloth. I would keep that as well in the breastfeeding station, so that as soon as you're done with that feed, you get that baby over burp cloth over your shoulder and you burp them. And if they do have a little bit of puke, you covered, and also you don't mess their clothes, so that decreases the amount of times you have to change baby. Okay. Third topic that I'm on is sleeping. Okay, for me, I always put my babies on the side. Well, that was what I was taught, old school way, by nurses. That way you're trying to prevent baby from, where they have that thing that comes out of their noses and things like that. SIDS is also a thing. And of course, when you do, make sure that there's nothing around them that could possibly make them, suffocate or anything like that. So putting them on the side worked for me. I know some people have different ways. Some people put them in the back. I never was comfortable putting them on their back, because I just felt like after a feed, they're on their back. Come on, everything is going to come out, okay? And then try to adjust baby to your cardiac rhythm, right? So what I mean by that is that allow them to sleep. With my first, I kind of was trying to keep her awake during the afternoon so that at night she would sleep. That doesn't work. So in the afternoon, everything is open. Lighting, bright. You are speaking, there's normal noises, you're boiling water, you're cooking, so that baby knows, okay, this is the afternoon. At night, literally everything dark, hushed whispers, very quiet, just so that they can actually slowly start getting into the rhythm of what normal sleep looks like. And I did this with all my kids. And let me tell you, they adjusted so easily and so quickly to the normal sleeping times that I didn't struggle much with it. But like I said, all babies are different. Mine were a bit easier than most, but trying to get them to adjust to the rhythm quite early is going to be golden for you, okay? And fussiness, okay, so something you should know about newborns is that they should be awake between 45 to 60 minutes at a time. So if you're aware of that time period that they should be awake, you kind of can not allow them to become fussy. So once you see, we're coming to the 45-minute mark where, they might start getting fussy because we're getting closer to an hour, then you can start prepping to put them to sleep. That way you don't have to deal with a baby who's overstimulated and struggling to sleep, because you know that they literally are awake for 45 to 60 minutes at a time, okay? And also, if you have a baby who's fussy and struggling to fall asleep, move to a different, scene. Move out of the room that you're in. Go to the kitchen. Go to the lounge. If it is hot outside, go stand outside and just bounce them a little bit on you. Carry them until they fall asleep. They could be, like I said, overstimulated or just need a change of environment in order to put them to sleep. So just be flexible with that. I don't believe in putting them down and letting them sleep by themselves. I would kind of just help them sleep. All of that sleep training as per se, I did at a later stage, and I'll make another video on that soon. Okay, For longer naps, swaddling. I swaddled my kids. I didn't do the whole fancy swaddle thing. I kind of just took like, what do they call them? Oh, I forgot the word, and it annoys me. But yeah, I would swaddle them, and that would actually let them sleep for the 3 hours, because I was also pumping a lot, so I kind of needed to pump during the stage when they were sleeping. So swaddling is golden for babies because they do have those shock reflexes which can wake them up and not allow them to sleep. But once you swaddle them and you keep those arms together, man, they sleep. Okay. Next, number 4, nappy or diaper bags. Okay. So packing a diaper bag and having everything ready is golden, just like you would for a hospital bag. So what I do is that I would pack in outfits, right? But the way I pack the outfits would be in a way that it is ready, and I don't have to kind of look for it all over the bag. So I'm gonna have, let's say I have a baby girl, I have a vest, and then a little hat. Then what I'd do is I'd fold it into like a little like a wrap or burrito style. Then the socks that I'd use, I'd actually connect them at the ends, and then I'd take that outfit and put it into a Ziploc or clear bag. That way I know if I need to make a change, that whatever I'm changing goes into that Ziploc or clear bag, and I know that's the laundry and it's not mixed in with the clean stuff in the nappy bag. That made things so convenient for me. Another thing with those clothes, hey, because sometimes you don't actually leave the house. Every 3 or 4 days, I change out the clothes in there just to make sure that they are clothes that are not chilling in the bag, are not being worn. So by the time I do find them, baby has outgrown them. Okay. And then also for feeding in those bags that I have bottles, formula, bib cloths, bibs. And like I said, if you're using formula, a formula dispenser is golden. And I'll also carry my own flask, right? With hot water in it. So if I'm anywhere and I need to kind of dilute and make the hot water into a nice temperature, if I'm at a restaurant, I'll ask for water. If not, I carry my own stuff and I just make my own formula bottle wherever I am. But I was breastfeeding for newborns, but I'm just saying in future, that just works for even when baby's a bit older. And then for changing, how I would pack the nappies is I would pack one nappy for each hour that I'd be away. So I know it's hard to calculate sometimes how long you'll be gone, but it just so happened that if I planned ahead how long I'd be gone, kind of makes things easy. Also breastfeeding, pumping, you kind of want to keep that 2 to 3 hour cycle, so you know. So that's what worked for me. Bum cream, nappy bags, and changing mat or cloth. Because some of the bathrooms that do have changing stations in them, in the family rooms, I don't know who's been on there, and I don't want my baby just, so I'd bring a baby changing mat or a cloth that I can put over that changing station at the public bathrooms or wherever I'm going to be, to ensure that my baby's not exposed to, outside things or other secretions and things like that. All right. And then number 5, bathing. Okay. So if your baby's not a fan of washing or bathing, which some babies really don't like, that's when the swaddling comes in, or the swaddle cloth. So what I do is that I would place swaddle baby in when I put them in the bath, and then I'd pour warm water over them, right? Just to get them adjusted to it. And then slowly I'd remove. That way you're not like placing them in water and shocking them, you know what I mean? They kind of get adjusted to the temperature and to the water. Slowly remove that cloth and you'll have a good baby you can wash that way. And they'll feel cocooned and they'll feel safe and they won't feel, exposed or freak out too much. And then also with bathing, I waited for the umbilical cord stump to fall off before I immersed them in water, because the more wet that baby stump or that umbilical cord gets, the longer it takes to fall off. Because remember, it needs to dry in order for it to fall off. So I'd actually, wash them from outside with like a sponge or whatnot, whatever that you use. And then once it fell off, then I'd actually immerse them in water. That worked for me. But like I said, other people are different. Some people want to just put them right in there. That's up to you. And then next topic is number 6, actually. Number 6, first aid. So basic meds that I had for baby was gripe water, Calpol, Times, just to make life easier for you. There's another spray that they had, I forgot the name. I actually need to find it. What is it called? I can't remember, but that spray as well, just to have around you, especially for the nights. They get the most congested at night, which can make sleeping really hard for all parties involved. So yeah, just having those with you, and also just be aware of the alcohol that is in some of these gripe waters and things like that. We don't want your baby having alcoholic things, you know, in there at a young age. But yeah, that's what worked for me. And then what I wanted to add, actually, which is my last point, which falls actually under bathing, is massages after bath time. I would really take my time in putting lotion on them, massaging them, especially putting them on their stomach and massaging their backs every night after washing them. Or if you don't wash them at night and you're changing them into night, just give them massage, and it will give them longer sleep during the night. And those are the 6 hacks that have worked for me for a newborn. I hope they were helpful. Like I said, I'm not a medical practitioner, so if you're unsure about anything that has to do with the umbilical cord, please call your provider. If your baby's colicky and has an issue, call your provider. Just be sure that if there's any other things that you're not sure about your baby, please ask the doctor before anything else and consult them, because they would know best. These hacks and tips are things that worked for me. They might necessarily work for everyone else. Like I said, my babies are a bit easier, so you never know. But yeah, I hope that helped. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought, what hacks worked for you, what troubles you have. I always respond to comments every single time, within a day, or within the day I post the video, or a day or two. Just know that I'll always comment. And if you have any suggestions on things that you'd like more information on, please let me know below. And again, subscribe, I believe, like, share, and we'll see each other again soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.